Welcome to Futureproof Nsukites.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to today's class. So, in today's class, I'm going to guide you on how to use Google Gemini. That is, we're going to work on a tutorial on how Google Gemini workflows works. So, the first thing you're going to do now, once you find yourself here, is to search on Google Gemini on your browser, or you can simply search for Gemini in order to access the workflow. So, once you search for Gemini on your browser, something like this, let me do it like this so that I will not go directly. So you're going to see something like this. The first result you see in your search is Google Gemini, that is this one. So you open this, so it's now going to direct you to Google Gemini. Mind you, Google Gemini is not something that you need to create an account before you can be able to access. Google Gemini is a powerful tool that, as far as you have a Gmail account, you automatically have access to Google Gemini. So Google Gemini is among um, Google tool that does not require you using um, maybe creating an account before you can access. As far as you have a Gmail, you can be able to access Google Gemini. So now we're going to experiment some of the powerful tools in Google Gemini and how it can really help us to boost our creativity. So, firstly, I'm going to make use of this prompting framework. As we said earlier in our previous intro, that is overview of this program, we discussed about how powerful this tool is in the aspect of writing, the aspect of video creation, and the rest. So I'm currently using a pro account, but I'm going to switch to a free account so that I will show you how this works. So as you can see now, this is a pro account. So I'm now switching to a free account in order to show you how Google Gemini workflow looks like, how you are going to enjoy the best experience in the use of this tool called Google Gemini. So now let's go through the tour. I'm going to switch my account. Okay. So now I'll switch my account to a free account just as a new user. How you're going to see your own. As you can see, this place is telling me to upgrade, of which I'm not going to. So now let me click on got it. So the first thing you do is when you find yourself in this Google Gemini, I want you to understand these two frameworks that will really help you to boost your creativity. But before then, let's experiment. Firstly, what is Google Gemini? Google Gemini is a very powerful AI model that is being built on so many models. That is a simple model that powers a lot of Google AI models. So in this Google Gemini, what you can do, among what you can do in this Google Gemini is creating files, that is typing documents, editing, asking questions, and so many things. You can do it with this Google Gemini. As you can see, there are some options like uploading files, that is when you want to have a document you want to understand or something you want to upload to understand, you can upload this. Then this drive, this is when you have a document from your Google Drive that you want Google Gemini to interact with. So you connect your Google Drive. So once your Google Drive is connected, that document from your Google Drive, you can be able to tag it in Gemini and discuss with Gemini in it. That is, what happens here is that Gemini access my Google Drive, and any image or file I have in my Google Drive, Gemini will now make use of that file to create document or whatever I'm going to use for. So let's assume I have this document now I want to use in Gemini. So I'll click on this document and I'll insert. You can see how powerful workflow of Gemini is. So it's not like me taking a document directly from my Google Drive and now importing it into Google Gemini. The Google Gemini will now analyze this document and create something for me. So let's say, for example, create a professional promotion flyer for this event. So actually the document I'm uploading is a document about an event. So I'm not telling Gemini to create a promotional flyer for the event. So you can see this is now structuring how the banner will look like. It's telling me the title of the banner, how it's going to look like, the details needed and everything to create the banner. So what I'll do now is I'll tell him to generate it. So now it's going to generate this banner for me. So I'm going to use generate it. So once I click on generate it, Google Gemini will generate the banner. So let's assume we are assigning this task to Google Gemini. For Google Gemini to what? Generate this banner. So let's check out its okay. Um I think I'm having a network issue. Let's see how it's going to look like. So basically what happens here, once you click on generate, you send, it's going to generate. I think I'm having a bad network issue, so I have to refresh again to see what I've done. So now let's check out. Okay, this is our conversation. So I'm going to generate it. I'm planning to generate, so I will tell Google Gemini to generate it. So now I've sent it. Now Google Gemini will analyze based on what I've sent and everything, then he can create. So one thing he need now for for him to be able to create this flyer is what I have to attach a logo for this branding. I'm going to attach two logos, as you can see them here. So once I upload the two logos, Google Gemini will now generate it. So let's assume let me find the logos online. I'm going to find the logos that is needed for this. So I'm going to find it. So this is the logo that Google Gemini need for him to create this. So I'm going to download the logo and I will send it to the Google Gemini for Google Gemini to be able to create that document that flyer. Then I'm going to find another one again, which is the second one that is needed there for Google Gemini to be able to create. So I'm having this, so I will download this. Okay, so I have the two logos needed now. I'm going back to Gemini again, and I'll attach those two logos. Click on upload, then you access your files where you save it. So I'm going to attach these two logos, then it will generate it. So now with these two logos now, I will take him to generate the flyer. So by doing this now, what I expect Google Gemini to do is to generate the flyer for this. So let's see how the flyer will look like. Okay, so here is an okay. He's working on it. Okay, as you can see, oh, he's creating it as a document. So I need something like a image flyer actually, not actually coding. So I'll say generate the image, something like that. Generate the image flyer, because there is one thing I want you to understand here. The reason why I'm facing this issue is what we call prompting, prompt framework. So the reason why I'm facing this issue, Gemini asking me so questions, do this, do that, is because I did not use a specific language that is needed for me to operate this. So that is one thing I want you to understand. That is why I keep on practicing this in order to reach here. So one thing you need to understand before you start using AI models is what we call prompt framework. Yeah, there are some prompt techniques that you need to know before you start using all these AI models. Among the prompt techniques I'm going to show you, we have two prompt techniques. One is the CRED and the second one is the prompt. So CRED means context, role, action, format, and tone. Context is when you tell the AI all is needed for the AI to create that thing. Then role, what is the AI acting as? Is it acting as a graphic designer, maybe acting as a video editor or website developer? Then we have the action. What action should be performed? Is it creating flyer, logo, or whatever? Then we have the format. In what format? Maybe PNG, document, whatever. Then the tone. In what tone? Is it going to be a professional tone or simple tone? So this is the main thing needed for AI to be able to create what? Your design. So I'm going to analyze this. I'm going to explain this now in using this Gemini. I'll ask Gemini to define this for us so that you can be able to understand if really what I'm trying to explain here is the same thing. So as you can see, I'm going to put it, I'm coming, create prompting technique, or let me say framework, create prompting framework, so that you can be able to understand what I really mean by create. So now you can see this is create, and you can see there is create and there is craft, depend on what I'm really looking for. So the two techniques that we are going to discuss about is the reason why it's telling me that likely mean maybe craft framework, but the most which is the most popular one, and also cred, which is specifically streamline to use some constraints. It has its main constraints. So C is the contents. That is, you define who the AI should act as or the background situation. Then role, you state the core task or goal clarity that you want the AI to do, which is I said role, this one is saying request, is still the same thing. Then examples. In the other one I said okay, I did not explain this in. So this one is more like execute, and also it means example. That is when you have reference. AI understand reference a lot. If you can put reference of something when creating, the result is always premium than just a random generation. Then the adjustment. This adjustment, as I said earlier, it can be an adjustment, it can be a constraint, and it can also be an action. So this is what you tell AI to ignore. Like you setting a boundaries of okay, don't add this, remove this. This is where you tell the AI. Then the last one is the deliverables. In what format should it be? The final tool. Should it be lengthy, maybe it should be structured, the output, like how should you look like? Should you look in a table or whatever? So you are now defining how everything works. So by the time you understand how these frameworks work, you now get the best rule of using AI. So let's assuming this as a framework, as a prompt framework, as you can see here. So an example of this prompt is that you are a senior marketing strategist working for an eco-friendly tech startup. The request is what? Write a launch email announcement for a new solar-powered wireless keyboard. And now the example is what? Keep the vibe energetic and sleek. You're not giving the example of how it should look like. Then the adjustment, you're not telling AI what to focus on and what should not be added. Maybe jargons or unnecessary informations. That's why you see some people creating documents, like creating images with AI, and unnecessary text or icons will be added to their design. So these are things you need to know before you start using artificial intelligence. So with this, we have come to the end of this class. We meet in our next tutorial class. So in the next tutorial class, I'm going to guide you on how to create documents, flyers, and so many more with Google Gemini. See you in our next tutorial video, and have a nice day.
Thank you for learning with Futureproof Nsukites. Keep learning, keep building, and together, let's create the future.